What's up, you guys? So, today, People Magazine published an exclusive interview with Porsha Williams where she reveals that she spoke to the authorities about her own experience with R. Kelly. Apparently, Porsha dated R. Kelly back in the day, and she reported what she saw to the authorities. She told People Magazine that she felt it was her opportunity to help anyone who's been hurt by him, and this was her first time opening up about her experience with R. Kelly. She said, quote, "I realized it was my opportunity to help anyone who's been hurt by him. There have been so many other instances where I had been abused by men that my mentality at that time was of an abused person, and that it was okay for me to be treated like that." And so she talks about how she met R. Kelly. She said after meeting a friend of R. Kelly in 2007, she was then 25 and she was considering a career in music. Y'all remember Porsha released a single and she considers herself a singer. So she was flown to Chicago to meet R. Kelly and to potentially work with him. And she says that she expected to be driven to a recording studio when she arrived, but instead she was taken to R. Kelly's home. And she said after an initial introduction to R. Kelly, someone led her to R. Kelly's bedroom and left her there alone for hours. So she stayed alone in R. Kelly's bedroom for hours. And when R. Kelly finally came in the room, he told her to take off her clothes. And she says that she said to herself, "I've already put myself in this position. This is what you're supposed to do. You have to. There is no turning back." So for anyone wondering why would she sit in his room for hours, it's because she felt like there was no turning back. She was already in that position. And she goes on to say that she saw him 2 more times after that. But she says she encountered several young women who were also staying at his home. And she wrote in her book that she decided not to see him again after she woke up one day and heard a woman being beaten in another room. So that's where it all ended between R. Kelly and Porsha Williams. When she woke up and heard another woman being abused in his home, that's where it ended for her. And she said she didn't tell her mother what she had experienced and what she had heard. She said, quote, "It's not something you want to tell your mom because my mom is a very strong woman and she did her very best in raising me. And I think for any woman or man who's been in an abusive situation, you don't want to tell your parents because you don't want to think that they have let you down in any way. I don't want her to think that she had done anything wrong. And so I took it upon myself." And then she goes on to say, "But I was glad when I did. She was glad that I told her and we talked about it. And she told me some of her experiences and we just talked about how this should be told so other women don't have to go through it." And so I noticed when Porsha Williams was live recently, she went live with Giselle Bryant and she was talking about her book, Pursuit of Porsha. And basically Giselle was interviewing her about the book. Giselle brought up Porsha's experience with an R&B singer. And Giselle didn't say the name, but they did have a conversation about Porsha dating an R&B singer, and I want to share that with you quickly here.
That's what I really want. I think it's all about communication. I try to be so overly honest with my kids to the point where they're like, "Ma, okay, we right." Because I don't ever want them to be out in the streets learning things that their mama didn't already tell them. Yeah. So I know now, speaking on mama and what you didn't tell her, I kept reading to another chapter. Y'all, this book is juicy. It's a lot. Yes. And I will not mention his name, but he's an R&B person. And you did not talk to your mom about the situation that you had with this R&B singer until now, correct? Mm-hmm. And I was actually like, wow, this is something that I know Miss Diane would have handled like the first time you met her. So why didn't you talk to your mom, Porsha?
I know, that's such a big question. To be honest with you, I was operating at that point in my life, and this is the point in my life that I want to break for other women.
Right.
I was operating in a pattern of men that I was attracted to, men that I would gravitate towards. And majority of the men that I would gravitate towards were actual predators. I didn't even realize it. You know, now that I think about it, back then, most of the men that I dated were older than me. And, yeah, most of the men I dated were older than me. Okay. I realize now, thinking back to that, Porsha, I always wanted love from them. I always wanted them to just want me to be around. I always wanted to be pleasing to a man.
Right.
In those days.
Yes.
And it led me in a lot of different scenarios in this book that were very damaging to me. Yeah. And so I really feel like at the time, I didn't tell my mom about a lot of those situations in the book because I didn't want her to feel like she had let me down in any way. My parents divorced when I was 2 years old. Right. And she did a damn good job raising me. She owned her own business. I worked in her business all the way from the age of 17 years old. And this is something, I don't know what you can take away from this, but I admired my mother so much that I never wanted to disappoint her. I never wanted her to feel like there was any point she missed out because my father wasn't in the household. So I overcompensated for that by keeping part of my life private.
Yes, which girls should not do.
I would only show her what I wanted her to see. Right. And, you know, so only thing she knew is that I was dating maybe a young boy at school. Or, you know, this young guy. She didn't know about a lot of these other situations. And at that time, all she knew was I worked at a furniture store and was doing good in life. That's all I wanted her to see. Right. But what I would love for my daughter to understand is that no matter what, she can never disappoint me. And I know that my mom feels that now that I talk to her, she's looking at me with tears in her eyes. Like, baby, you could have never... You would have never disappointed me.
Of course.
I would have always supported you. I would have always supported you no matter what. Right. But I didn't know that. And these are conversations that I would love for the book to provoke for mothers and daughters.
So basically, Porsha Williams kept it a secret from her mom that she was dating R. Kelly and that she heard women getting abused in his home. She kept it a secret, and now she's opening up about it in her book, which I will be, well, actually I already bought it, you guys. I will be reviewing the book. We can have our story times and we can discuss the book because I did purchase it and it comes out in about 2 weeks. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Let me know what you think about Porsha Williams revealing that she dated R. Kelly, that she was intimate with R. Kelly on a few different occasions, and that she actually heard a woman being abused at his home. She saw several young women at his home and heard at least one being abused. Also, I have some little known information about Aaliyah and R. Kelly that I want to share with you guys. So make sure you're subscribed first of all, but turn the notification bell on to all. That way you get the notification when I post about R. Kelly and Aaliyah. And so I'm going to be sharing that on my channel probably tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for watching.
Layla.